Good morning to one and all. On behalf of our Biochemistry and Mathematics Department, I welcome you all for our ninth day FIP online short-term course on Biostatistics and R Programming. Today's session will be moved on with Dr. R. Muthukrishnan, Professor, Department of Statistics, Bardiyar University and Coimbatore, on the topic of visualization of data using R and hypothesis testing using R. Over to you, ma'am. Solly, ma'am.
If everyone to moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. Good morning, one and all present here. It my pleasure to welcome all participants. My so heartily welcome you all on the behalf of Ratnaveli Subramaniam College of Arts and Science, Sulur, Coimbatore. Organized Department of Biochemistry and Department of Mathematics welcome the new concept in 10 days faculty improvement program, online short-term course on biostatistics and R programming. Now I call upon Mr. Parvada ma'am, Assistant Professor Biochemistry to give a recap of 8-day section. I welcome you ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to all. Good morning to all. I, on behalf of the management and the entire fraternity of the Institute, I welcome you all for the 9th day FIP on biostatistics and R programming. On the very first day, Dr. R. Jaishankar opened the webinar by providing an overview of biostatistics. Second day, Dr. Jaishankar described the basic features of the data used in descriptive statistics. In the third day, Dr. R. Muthukrishnan presented the keynote address on basics of R programming, and he discussed the basic concepts of biostatistics in R programming. In fourth day, Dr. R. Jaishankar took session on visualization of data, and also he recalled his previous sessions. Fifth day, Dr. R. Jaishankar started his session on hypothesis testing. His presentation mainly focused on correlation and regression. In sixth day, Dr. R. Muthukrishnan presented the keynote address on predictive modeling regression, classification, clustering models, which are essential for understanding our programming. On seventh day, Dr. R. Jaishankar moved on with the topic visualization of data using R, and he made the participants to understand the concepts. On the eighth day, Dr. R. Jaishankar explained the predictive modeling in detail and also explained the robust linear discriminant analysis. Every day, participants raised their queries in sessions, and their queries were clarified by the resource person. Hope today's topic, hypothesis testing using R, will be an interesting and eye-opening session by Dr. R. Muthukrishnan, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So I think almost the theory part of this course will be over. Dr. Jaishankar handled all theory parts regarding the biostatistics. What are the statistical tools available in the literature? The mostly used tools explored by Dr. Jaishankar in the context of theoretical level. Actually, we are going to handle the same theoretical what you learned from the part of the statistical tool from delivered by Jaishankar. We are going to compute using the R programming. How will you use the particular statistical tool for our data analysis? That we are going to see with the help of R software. Okay. So actually we explored in the previous classes like the basics of R. How will you import, export the data? What are the basic functions are available that we learned in the previous classes. And also how to visualize the given data. Various diagrams, various charts are there to visualize our collected data. But due to time restriction, we explore a little bit. But you can get more detailed explanations in the R software itself. It is there. Just by getting the help as a HTML help or PDF help, it is there. You can get it from the R software to get the in-depth knowledge in each and every statistical tools. So due to the restriction of time, we didn't explore in detail the manner. Okay. So, but anyhow, we delivered. We are also delivering what the content. We motivate you to learn further. That's all. That's enough for us. Actually, we are learning to motivate you. We are giving the concept to motivate you to learn further. Okay. So today we are going to see. I think I will share my screen. So visible. My screen is.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I will share my entire screen. Now and then I will move on some word screen and PPT screen on our software screen. Okay. So that's why I will share my entire screen. Please listen. So actually, I plan to cover all these kind of topics, the 15 topics. Okay. So previously we discussed a little bit regarding the 9, almost 10. Yeah. We covered almost 10 topics. These are the basic topics, the first 9 topics. Then this you started the statistics here, the 10th topic, the visualization of data. You need to visualize the data. So the visualization itself gives some idea about your pattern of your data. Okay, some information about the data. Through the visualization, you can give some inference about your data. That is first part of your data analysis. That is very much important for your decision making purpose. Okay, various types of visualization diagram is there. We explore a little bit. Okay, you can get more knowledge in the through the literature. You can get more knowledge. Okay, the next part is a descriptive statistics. So next today and tomorrow we are going to cover these 5 topics: descriptive statistics, hypothesis testing, then regression procedure, classification techniques, clustering. All the theory part may be covered by Dr. Jaishankar in the previous classes. But today and tomorrow we are going to give what is the command to execute all these methods. You know the methods. Okay, what is the command to execute in R? That's all that we are going to see. And also I'm going to explore it in detailed manner. You can get help from the R software itself, or you can refer the books which I was given in the references. Okay, so today let us start with some descriptive statistics. How will you perform this descriptive statistics? What is the concept of descriptive statistics? It is nothing but you need to summarize your data. That's all. What you collected. You can collect some 20 pages data, 10 pages data, or a single 1 page data. Whatever your data collected, you need to summarize your data. So the summarization makes the graphical resolution also in one type of summarization, one type of descriptive measures. Okay, summary statistics, that is also one type of descriptive measures. So what kind of descriptive strategies? First part is visualization that we learned. That is a box plot. What is the usage of box plot? Anyone? I think we discussed in the last class. Box plot. That is very much important nowadays, since they have collected data in a gigabyte manner per every day, per every hour we collected. But we need a statistical tool to analyze the data. I already told you all kind of statistical procedure developed based on the normality assumption. If it violates, then your result will be the unreliable one. The data violates assumption, then you have to use that concept of various tools developed based on the normal curve. Certainly it won't give the reliable result. So you need to take care. So first, through the visualization plot, you can check whether the data is normally distributed or not. That the box plot play a vital role for this kind of validating the assumptions. So just to see the box plot, is there any outlier is there or not? If it is outlier is there, then certainly your data is not normal, not normal. Okay, so it is non-normal data. So you have to convert the non-normal data to normal data, then do your analysis. Otherwise, the alternative robust procedures are there. You can perform the robust procedures. Okay, for example, let us see 1 or 2 slides here. I think it's a very basic one. For example, you see the screen. I think that part we discussed or not earlier. Whether this screen is visualized earlier or not, displayed or not? Anyone, please? We discussed this screen. Is there any discussion made on based on this screen? Anyone? Am I audible or not?
Audible, sir?
Whether we discussed based on this screen?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay, just 2 minutes. Please listen. So for this is your house, this is your university or college. It's a hill station. See the distance between these two places is 100 kilometer. Distance between these two places. You want to travel from your home to your college. The distance is 100 kilometer. Since it's a hill station, we are traveling from here to here. The 20 kilometer per hour speed. Please, another 2-3 minutes. Why we need robust statistics? Okay, that's I'm going to explain another 5 minutes. Since conventional procedures are there, the conventional procedures we are using for the past 2 centuries, but it won't give the reliable result when your data is not normal. So in that situation, we need to use the robust procedures. Similarly, for selection of proper statistical tool, that is also very important doing the data analysis. Selection of proper statistical tool for your data analysis. These 2 points we need to take care. Selection of proper statistical tool, whether classical statistics or robust statistics. When will we use robust statistics? When the classical data doesn't follow the assumption, then we can use the robust statistics. Okay, so these 2 points we need to take care. So this another 2-3 slides based on these 2 points only. Okay, so now you see the onward journey took 20 kilometer speed. The distance 100 kilometer. Okay, onward journey took 20 kilometer per hour speed. The return journey, you are traveling from college to your residence, slope is there. So return journey 30 kilometer per hour. So one person may ask, what is the average speed of the entire distance? So what is your result? What is the average speed of the entire distance? Anyone, please? The average onward journey 20 kilometer speed, return journey 30 kilometer speed per hour. What is the average speed of the entire distance?
25, sir.
25. So if you say 25, certainly it will be the result, but it is not a reliable result. It is not a correct result. It is not exact correct result. Please make a note. So that's why I'm telling, select a proper statistical tool for your data analysis. Not only this basic, even t-test, f-test, ANOVA, cluster analysis, many more statistical analysis we are going to deal with that. Okay, so you have to select a proper statistical tool for your data analysis. You use one tool for this one. You are told that the result is 25. What kind of tool you use here? That is arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean is what here? 20 plus 30 divided by 2. So 20 plus 30 is 50. 50 divided by 2, 25. So your result is result. It is not a correct result. But you used the statistical tool here. What kind of statistical tool? Arithmetic mean. That is, arithmetic mean means add all the observations divided by the number of observations. So 20 plus 30 divided by 2, 25. So it is not a correct answer. It is not the exact correct answer. It is an answer, but it is not the exact correct answer. Okay, suppose if you assume 25, you need to check whether it is correct or not. Please take this 25. Now what about how many hours it took onward journey? If you assume 25 kilometer per hour, how many hours it took onward journey? Suppose you leave it, you see 20 kilometer per hour, 20 kilometer per hour. How many hours it took onward journey? If you assume 20 kilometer per hour, what about onward journey? It took 5 hours. Am I correct? Please respond 1 or 2 at least.
Yes, sir.
Onward journey took 25 hours actually. 20 kilometer means 5 hours. Similarly, return journey 30 kilometer per hour. The distance is 100 kilometer. So 30 kilometer per hour. Then how many hours it took? 3 hours 20 minutes. Am I correct? Return journey 3 hours 20 minutes. Onward journey 5 hours based on the given information. So the total time taken is 8 hours 20 minutes. Please make a note. 8 hours 20 minutes. 8 hours 20 minutes. Suppose you consider the result 25 kilometer per hour. Somebody is saying 25 kilometer per hour. So actual time taken 8 hours 20 minutes. Please make a note. 8 hours 20 minutes. If we assume 25 kilometer per hour, then we traveled 8 hours 20 minutes. So 8 hours 20 minutes multiplied by 25 kilometer per hour. So we traveled 8 hours 20 minutes. Suppose if it is 8 into 25, it is 200. Again 20 minutes we traveled. It may take more than 5 hours or 5 kilometer, 8 kilometer. So around 208 kilometer we traveled. If you assume 25 kilometer per hour, then we traveled 8 hours 20 minutes. So actual the distance we traveled 208 kilometer, maybe more than 200 kilometer. Am I correct? Since the time taken is 2 hours 20 minutes, 2 hours per hour 25 kilometers. So total time taken is 8 hours 20 minutes. So per hour 25 kilometer speed, average speed. So your result is 8 hours 20 minutes, maybe more than 20 kilometer we traveled. So 25 is not a correct answer. Am I correct? Suppose if you assume 24 kilometer, your answer is 24 kilometer, then you check your result. If your answer is 24 kilometer, what about the total time taken? 8 hours 20 minutes. So 8 hours 20 minutes multiplied by 24, it is exactly 200 kilometer. 8 hours 20 minutes multiplied by 24. So 8 into 24, 192. Okay, then 20 minutes, 8 kilometer. So exactly 200 kilometer we traveled, 8 hours 20 minutes the time, then average speed 24 kilometer per hour. That's all. If you have any queries, so if you put exact answer is 24, then it is a correct answer. If you put answer is 25, then it is a wrong answer. So how will you obtain the 25? Your 25 is nothing but, how will you obtain the 25? 25 is nothing but 20 kilometer plus 30 kilometer divided by 2. It is nothing but 25 kilometer per hour. Is visible my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this tool you used for this purpose, arithmetic mean, but it is not a correct answer. It is not the exact correct answer. But I got the result 24 kilometer an hour. That is a correct answer. This one is a correct answer. This 24 kilometer per hour is a correct answer, but it is not an exact answer. So how will you obtain this result? What kind of tool we can use to get the value 24? So listen, the another tool is their harmonic mean. We also learned all these kind of averages: harmonic mean, harmonic average, more kind of averages, mean, median, mode, even the mean, trimmed mean, winsorized mean, harmonic mean, and then geometric mean, more kind of tools are there. So you have to select a proper statistical tool for your data analysis. Here the data is there. What kind of data is there? The speed, then distance, this kind of data is there. So you have to use the harmonic mean. So for this one, you traveled 8 hours and 20 minutes. If you multiply with the 24, it is more than 200 kilometers, maybe 208 kilometer total distance. 8 into 25, 200. Then 20 minutes, 25. It is more than some 8 kilometer, 8.2 kilometer. So total distance traveled 208. Actually, we traveled only 200 kilometer. Onward 100 kilometer, return 100 kilometer. So please make a note while selecting this tool, statistical tool for your data analysis. So here, what kind of harmonic mean? It is nothing but how many observations? That means actually your result is sum of all the observation divided by
number of observations.
Here your formula is sum of all observation divided by number of observation. But what is the formula for here? Number of observation divided by reciprocal of all the observation. This is your harmonic mean. So here your result is nothing but 2 divided by 1 by 20 plus 1 by 30. So 2 into 20 into 30 divided by 20 plus 30. Am I correct? So what's the result? 1200 divided by 50. So it is nothing but 24. Here also your answer is 25. Here your answer is 24. You see, both are result. Plus listen, both are result for the given problem. But which one is correct? Which tool is correct? If you assume 24, then we traveled 8 hours 20 minutes. You multiply 24 kilometer per hour, 24 kilometer per hour. So what about your result? You multiply by 24, 8 into 24, 192. So 20 minutes, it is 1/3. So 24 1/3 is 8. So it is exactly, what is it? Exactly 200 kilometer answer. So this is your tool. So this is one basic example. You have to select a proper statistical tool for your analysis. Okay. So another one, I will wind up this slide. Another one. Okay. Then we'll move on to the R chapter. Why we need robust statistics for doing our statistical analysis? Please listen. You see here, this is one problem. This is not a problem. A company is working with 11 employees. Please listen. Company is working with 11 employees. Now you tell about the approximate average. Anyone? Arithmetic mean. You can use the arithmetic mean. What is the approximate value for this one? Please tell anyone. Suppose if you can select the good representative for the given data points. You select one point that is a representative. I already told you the representative, the class representative is a good one, good example. So select one data point which represent the entire data point. Which one you are going to select? Please. The 11 data points are there. You have to select one data point which represent the entire data point. Then it is a good representative. Which one you are going to select?
So 31.
Very good. So please listen. If you select near 30, then it is a good representative. Am I correct? So if your mean is 31, then it is good. Please listen. This is a very good example for your why we need a robust statistics. Please listen. So please listen. This is whether it is normal data. Anyone you can see? Is it normal?
No, sir.
No. Because yeah, very good. Please listen. Please inform your student also. Suppose in recruitment, the company is saying they are giving, please see, they are giving 88,000 per month salary. You please see the screen. They are telling 88,000 per month per employee. They are telling like that. But actually, it is correct. 88.7 is average is correct. You add all the observation. Divided by 11. Then it is 88.7. The company is telling the truth. Please listen. The company is telling the truth to your students. The company is giving 88.7 thousand per month. Average, please see. The average salary, the company is paying 88.7 thousand per month. But if any of the employees is getting this salary, please see, none of them getting this salary. Even if the company recruit your student, they won't give 88.7 thousand per month for your student. Please listen. They won't give. But they are telling the truth. They are telling the statement of the truth. But we have to take care. No one employee, none of the employees is getting 88.7 thousand. Only 2 employees got more than 88.0 thousand. See, 2 lakhs and 5 lakhs. Maybe manager or deputy manager, CEO like that. Okay. So all other employees are getting nearly 30,000 per month only. They won't give 88.7 thousand per month. But they are telling this one. But 88.7 is correct. Why it is correct? Add all these values. Divided by 11. The result is 88.000. You see the standard deviation 145.6 variation. You see the variation, the salary of these 2 employees. 29 and 200, 36 and 500. It's like variation. So I already told you these 2 measures get affected if your data is non-normal, if your data contains extreme observations. So you have to check whether the data is normal or not. So the very basic diagram is a box plot. You see the box plot. So the 2 data is 200 and 500. This is your box plot that we already discussed. We see that mean value is 85. Company is telling this one. But actually we collected then the data measure. We measured the data of a good representative. What is a good representative here? 30.7 thousand per month. What is the variation? 3.4 only. You see, this is our result. This is also, they are using our statistical tool. What is kind of statistical tool? Arithmetic mean, standard deviation. This is also one kind of mean. Suppose if you remove these 2 data, extreme data remove, then the remaining result as usual arithmetic mean and standard deviation is. You see, this is your data excluding the outliers. You discard these 2 outliers, then your result will be this. This is also normal arithmetic mean, normal standard deviation. Now you see the standard deviation 30.7. So it represents almost 9 data. So this 30 representative of the 9 data, not 11 data. Okay, even you can select, since this 30 represent the majority of the data points. If it represents the majority of the data point, then it is a good measure. So the robust statistics plays a vital role. The robust statistical measures are computed using the majority of the data points. Please make a note. Similarly, you see that there are 2 data samples. This is one, this is another one. X1, X2. So you see here X1 is there in X-axis. This is X2, Y-axis. You plot the data. This already we have seen. This is scatter plot. Now you see, because of these two observations, your correlation get affected. You see, it says that negatively correlated. Why these two? You see, x1 increases, x2 increases. Actually, it shows the positive. Because of these two, your result get affected. So this correlation formula is related with your standard deviation and mean. If standard deviation mean is get affected, automatically your correlation get affected. So your traditional correlation coefficient is affected. So if you can find this 0.72, it is a good representative, the correlation value. That means 72% of the relationship exists between these two data points. Why? So because of these two, that is the 95, 98 is there. You see, all other data points are 50, 60 only. Only these two data point is 95, 98. That's why your result get affected. So please make a note. So the alternative to classical measures, robust measures are available. Robust mean is there. Robust standard deviation is there. That also we are going to execute with R software. Okay, let us finish this one. So now you see, let us going to see some of the descriptive measures and also hypothesis testing problem. I think I will cover these two topics in another 1 hour. Okay, descriptive statistics and hypothesis testing problem. How will you perform? How will you choose the test based on your situations? Please see, the data is there. What kind of tool you are going to select? See, many kind of tools there. You already learned this kind of tools. Now we have to select the tool for your data analysis. See the data, look at the data, then select a proper statistical tool. Whatever your tool apply, the tool give the result. Okay, even you see the previous result, arithmetic mean, harmonic mean, we applied. Both the tool gives the result, but which one is correct? Harmonic mean is a correct tool for that situation. Similarly, many kinds of statistical tools is there. You have to select a proper, like medicine, paracetamol, corrosin, covaxin, covishield, whatever it is, the medicine is there. We need to select a proper medicine for our specific disease. Similarly, the dosage is also necessary. So likewise, it is a statistical tool like a medicine. You have to select a proper medicine for your data analysis. Okay, let us see the R software. Is my screen is visible? Anyone?
Yeah, sir, visible.
Okay. Now you see, so last class we discussed some of the visualization. So this class we are going to see the descriptive measures like arithmetic mean and other mean, median, mode, whatever it is we are going to have. Okay, so please see what are the tools we are going to see. I'm going to type it here. Okay, suppose if you want to see the data, let us take that salary data. Okay, let us take the salary data. What is our salary that previous we discussed data? I will type the data. If you want, you can type it in your system simultaneously for hands-on training. You can type any data, not only this exact data. So based on your data, the result will come. Okay, so I will type the data. If you want, you can say take the same data. Okay, just type that 11 data. Now we are going to summarize our data. Okay, summarize our data. Through the summarization, we can get some idea. Okay, type in your screen. So this is our data. So here it is not only one data point. This data point contains 11 data points. That's why we are using the function C. See, please see this function already I explained. That means what? Combine all the data and put together. Combine all the data. The function name is combine. Please, tomorrow we are having some assessment. So please see that function and then corresponding execution. Okay. So this function combine all the data, put together. So it creates a vector. It creates what? It creates the vector form. Okay. So what is salary? You see again the left hand side. I will take that salary. So see the salary data, 9 data. Okay. Now whether it is normal or, please listen, almost all the data is normal data points you have, then you can use the traditional statistical procedure what you learned in the previous classes. If it is not, you need to convert into normal, then you apply the traditional procedure. Otherwise, the alternative procedures are there. The alternative procedures are robust procedures. Even one more procedure is also the Bayesian procedure. Bayesian approach is there. Robust approach is there to do your data analysis. Okay, so please make a note. So I have the data, whether it is normal or not. First, you need to check. How will you check whether the data is consistent or normal? So simply you type this plot, visualize your data, box plot of the data, box plot. The function is box plot. To normality check, box plot is very much useful to check the normality of the data. Okay, please. Box plot is used to check the normality of the data and detect the outliers. Normality of the data. Normality of the data. Also detect the outliers. Outliers detect பண்ணிக்கலாம். And also you can find the interquartile range. The box represents interquartile range. In a box, that the middle part within that box is referred as IQR, interquartile range. This is very much important. So listen, here I'm taking on the basic salary data. You can use your biological data, whatever the biological data you can use. Okay, instead of this data. Now you see your diagram. Where is the diagram? See the diagram where it is there. You see these two. I displayed in the PowerPoint. So these two are outliers. So whoever data is not normal. Now I can see that mean of the salary. This is one basic descriptive statistic. Mean. That means arithmetic mean. Simply type mean. So that's why this R software is familiar to all. So it's very easy to execute in R. Just you are writing the English word. That's all. Okay. So if you are using the SPSS, then you have to search where it is. You don't know. You have to click various menus. And also the result will be in the separate output viewer. Various tables are there. You have to locate where is the result. But here it is not like that. Simply type the English word, you will get the result. If you want the mean, simply type mean of that value. If you see 88.7. 88.7. If you want standard deviation, simply type standard deviation. Just so you see 145. This is a correct, whether it is correct or wrong, we don't know. But actually, it is the arithmetic mean of the given data points. That's all. So the tool is there. We use the tool. The result is there. That's all. Okay, you have to interpret your data, whether the collected data is normal, and then use the tool, whether the tool is the selected tool is a proper statistical tool, such like that you have to give the interpretations. Okay, but this is our collected data, this is our mean and standard deviation. That's all. So this represents what? 88.7 is representative of the 11 data points. If you say 88.7 is a representative, certainly it is not a good representative. Certainly, it is not a good representative. This representative doesn't represent even in a single data. Is it represent 200? Is it represent 500? No. So, out of 11 data points, this representative doesn't represent even a single data point. So, it is not a good representative. Please make a note. Suppose I will give another method. We all know how to compute median. Anyone? What is median? What is median?
Middlemost value, n
So
plus 1 by 2 by 10.
middle value. So what is the middle value here? What's the middle value? How will you compute the middle value here? Please listen. Middle value. So by computing middle value, first you see in the screen, your middle value is I think 31. Suppose here 5, you leave 5 observation left hand side, you leave 5 observation right hand side, then the middle value is 31. If you compute middle value like that, then it is certainly wrong. First, you have to
Plus we have to
arrange the
arrange
data. Very good. Very good.
ascending or descending order.
Either ascending order or descending order, then you have to arrange. But here computer will take care, simply type the keyword median. Median of your data points is there in. You see here, 31. So your result is 31. Here your result is 31. Result is 31. For example, suppose if you want to sort, see, arrange the order, arrange the value. How will you arrange? Use the function sort. You see 25, 28, 29, 30, 31 like that. You leave the first 5 observation. Total 11 observation is there. So first 5, the last 5, and the middle value, exactly your middle value 31. Okay, this is the actual procedure. Please listen, this is the actual procedure. Sort. Okay, so median, it gives the middle value. Please make a note, it gives the middle value. What about next basic measure? Mean, median. What about next measure? Anyone? Mode. So here, here if you compute mode, then it won't give the result. You see here? It is some other class. So salary is a numeric. What kind of the mode is there? That means the class type is there. The data is numeric. It tells the data is numeric. So here mode is not a keyword for computing the mode. So we have to execute some other function. For example, I will consider X. First, we can make a table. Okay, for each observation, how many times occurs? For each observation, how many times occur? Table of salary.
Sir, why is it so, sir? We can't calculate that mode. Why is it so?
So the basics of when developed the R software in basic, so they are giving like a mode is a class type. What kind of mode? The data point is what kind of mode, whether it is numeric or its characters, just like that they created already. So we can't change the basic keywords. Okay, so but some other functions are there. So you need to download the separate package. For that you can compute. For example, I will see whether the packages I have installed or not. Let us see. So if it is psychology package is there, I can compute easily mode.
Okay, sir.
Okay, it is not there. So you need to please see, you need to install package. How to install the package? Please see, install package. It will go to the net. You can select any mirror, even in Indian mirror or any other mirror, no problem. India, please see, India, select the mirror. Now the package name is some psychology. In psychology package, the mode is there. So it is in the alphabetical order. Please make a note, psychology, PSY, alphabetical order, PSY, psychological package. See, okay. So it will install in your system. First install, okay. After installing, please make a note, after installing, you need to load. You see here whether it is there or not. Previously it is not there. Okay, now it is in the alphabetical order. It is there, psychology. So once installed, then you can load for your execution. Just load. So it is loaded. Okay, now I'm going to compute the mode. Okay, most frequent value. What is the function? MFV, most frequent value in the data points. See here. Why it is not there? We didn't load it, I think so. Load package, psychology, load package. Where it is psychology? Psychology package. Most frequent value of salary. Would not find function. Otherwise, you can see the structure. We will move on the help file. Sorry, please listen. It is there in the, please listen, all of you listen. That package is useful for some other purpose. I think it is available in the mode estimation package. Please see, mode estimation is there, not. So install the package. Please make a note, the package name, mode estimation, MOD, KLIJKLMNO, mode estimation. Mode you see, mode MODEST, just okay.
Mode or modest, sir?
Modest, MODEST. You need to install that package. If your internet fraction of second, within fraction of second it will install. It will install some other packages, some other dependent package also install. Don't worry. Actually, this package is developed for some other purpose, but if you want to calculate mode separately, you can install and load. You see, these are the packages, dependent packages are that. This package is created some other purpose. Okay, so that's why dependent package is also installed. Now you need to load the package. After installing, you see here, you need to load the package. Where it is, MOD. You see here, modest. Okay. So now it is loaded. Now you use that keyword, most frequent value of salary. Most frequent value salary of MVE. MV of SAL. MV, most frequent salary. See the function whether it is there or not. MVE. Library load package. MODEST. So that function is not there. Library most frequent value. So for that, if you want to, you can download that packages. So please bear with a minute. I will explain it at the end of the class. Okay. So you need to select a proper package, then only you can get the specific values. Okay. So for this in basic package, please listen, in basic package, it is not there to compute mode. Okay. So how will you compute our mode? That part I will, at the end of the session, I will show you the corresponding package, then what is the exact function. Okay. Now you see, how will you find the mode for the given data points? So this is our salary. Okay. So mean, median is okay. Then the mode, we can compute the mode. So first you find out the frequency for each data, how many times appeared. You see table of salary. See here, 25 one times, 29 two times, 30 two times, 31 one time, 32 like that. So now you look at the data, we can say easily the mode is 30. Am I correct? We can, by seeing this table, we can say easily the mode is 30. But by through that computer, we can compute. How we can compute? So you see here, first you store the table in any other value, any other variable. So this x, what is x? X is nothing but your table. Now you can select which maximum, which x is equal to, what you see, 2 equal sign is nothing but the relational operator, is equal to, which x equal to maximum of x. Please make a note, this is the formula to compute mode. Now you see 30. What is 4? It is in the 4th position in your data. Please see, 30 is a mode. It is in the position, 4th position. You see, first position, second position. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 11 positions. The 4th position after this table, after arranging this, the table, in the table, the 4th position as the mode value. So what is the, how will you compute the
There
mode?
is a question in the chat box, sir.
Yeah.
By one of our ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, 1 second, sir. Let me take it. Sir, sometimes
So
31 also comes twice
yeah,
that time.
sometime bimodal class is there. Sometime bimodal, more than one model is exist. Then it will display the bimodal class. Okay. So now you see, so this is a basic message without installing. Please listen, without installing any package. Once you install our software, there are 30 packages there. Please make a note. If you want, you can see the screen. Only 30 packages. You see, package, load package. Here it is only 30 packages in your screen. Okay, by default, 30 packages are loaded. Okay. So with that 30 packages, you can compute the basic mode without adding any add-on packages. You can compute mode like this code only. Just to first you compute table. Okay, table of x. Next, you can find out which x is equal to maximum. Like that, you can compute mode. So mean, median, mode, standard deviation, like that you can compute. Suppose next function, you see some other functions. What is the length? What will the output of this statement? You see, tomorrow we can expect such type of question. What will the output, the length of salary? What will the output of this given value, given statement? Length. So here we are learning. We learned today man, mean, standard deviation. Before that, I used the word box plot, mean, standard deviation, median. What are the other statement? What are the other statement? Table. Okay. Then which function? Maximum function. Now I am using the function length. What is the length? What it gives? Anyone? So how many observations in your data points? You see, length it says n, sum of x by n. So what is sum of x? If you want to see sum of x is a sum, adding all the 11 points. You see here, what is SL? Salary, 11 data points. Add all the data points. How will you add? Sum divided by n. So you will get the mean. Am I correct? If you want to calculate the mean by using your own function, you see here, sum of x divided by length of x. Here x is nothing but your salary data point. Now you see your mean is 88.7. So sum is another function. Sum is another function you learned today. For descriptive statistics, sum is another function. So sum of x data points divided by the length of the data points, you will get the mean. Okay. So what is sum? It will give adding all the elements. Length is nothing but how many elements are there in the particular data file. Okay. So sum length. Okay. Suppose if you want to calculate the minimum Next one is you can type it in your screen, minimum value. So it displays the minimum of the data points. Minimum of the data points. So I'm giving only 11 data points. Suppose your data points is 10,000 data points, 1,000 data point is there. Then no, don't worry. Just you give the name of the variable name. That's all. What is it? Minimum. Similarly, suppose if you put maximum, this is another point. What is the maximum value? Okay, so min, max. So this is a keyword, minimum, maximum. Suppose if you type minimum val, it will give the error. Okay, so you have to give, so already inbuilt, the function is min, that's enough. No need to type minimum. So, okay, so minimum, maximum, like that. So what about that? Another one function, cum, sum. What is that meaning? Anyone?
Cumulative sum.
Cumulative sum. Very good. You see, cumulative sum. First data point is 30. What about next data point? 25. So 30 plus 25, it is added 55. The next data point 32 is added here. So you can get cumulative sum. So this is another function. Please make that keywords. That is very much important for doing my data analysis. Cumulative sum. Okay. So suppose if you want to find out the variance of salary. So it will give the error. What is that? Could not find function. That function is not inbuilt. It is not there in your basic core software. Suppose if you want to calculate variance by using the first 3 letter, you see here, it will give the result. Variance of salary is 21117. Actually, it is wrong. Okay, let us take the salary. It will sometime you need to clear all objects. Suppose if you take sal, now you compute the variance. It's correct. Why it is correct? You see standard deviation. Standard deviation is 145. If you take the square, then it will give a variance. Am I correct? Suppose square root of the variance is called standard deviation. Am I correct or not?
Yes, sir.
See here,
Sir, I have
standard
a question.
deviation is equal to square root of variance, or variance is nothing but standard deviation of square. Okay, so you know this formula. Now,
Sir, I have a doubt.
yeah, tell me.
Like variance in the salary, right? So how could if the number of data points is 50 or something, the entire data set you bring the variance or to a particular set?
You see your variance formula. See the screen. Your variance formula is nothing but sum of xi minus x bar. Okay, sum of xi minus x bar whole square divided by n. So this is your arithmetic mean.
Okay, sir.
This is your each data point. So first data point minus arithmetic mean. Suppose our first data point is 30, then minus 31 square plus second data points. You need to compute. Second data point is 28 minus the mean whole square. So if you add like that, then divided by the number of data points, you will get the variance. The variation among the entire data points. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now you see this variance is 2 to 1 line. How? So this is standard deviation. If you want to check if can SD of salary take square, you will get the variance. Am I correct? Suppose square root, you see the function. Please see the function. So ST power, I use the power 2. You will get the variance. You will get the variance. Okay. Then if you want to get the standard deviation, what is it? SQRT. You can type in your system SQRT of variance of salary. So here I'm going to find out the standard deviation. So standard
Sir, every time we want to include the parenthesis, sir. So
Yeah,
variance after that you open and close the parenthesis you use.
Yeah, here you need to type the data points. You see this, I am giving the common formula. Within the
Okay.
parenthesis only, you are going to give the file name, your data file name or variable name. Please listen, in your R software, almost all you have to interact with the R, you have to use these parentheses. Within that parenthesis only, we need to give the arguments. That means file name, or you can give some other variable name, exact variable name you have to give. Then only it will give the result. Okay, see, everything is within the parenthesis only. Please make a note. Okay, suppose if you want to calculate the standard deviation, if variance is given, you want to calculate standard deviation, then what is the formula? Square root of variance of, what is our result? 2111. Okay, 211, or you can give directly salary. Now you see 145.58. What is this? It is a standard deviation. You see the standard deviation is there. Okay. So likewise, you can get the basic summary statistics, basic measures. What is the range for the given data?
Largest value minus smallest value.
Okay. See the data. Now you tell me the range. So how will you compute the range here? Just type
200
range.
minus 30.
Just you type, will get it. Range of salary. See here, the range. That means it will give the minimum value and the maximum value. Minimum value and the maximum value. So inbuilt software, they are giving this function. If you give this function, it will give the minimum value and the maximum value. So you need to take the difference. The minimum value is 25, maximum value is 500. Then what is interquartile range? Anyone? Interquartile range. Any idea about the interquartile range? Or let us see some other. Let us see. Summary.
No.
Please listen. Please listen. Summary SAL. SAL is our data contains file name or the variable name is SAL. Okay. Summary SAL. Please make a note. I will go through this after. So you take summary, type and see the screen. Type your command summary. Then see your data. What is the result? You will get it. Anyone is working simultaneously? What's the result summary? See here, minimum value is there, maximum value is there, first quartile. That means I already told you 25%, 25% of the data below this one. Median among this means 50% of the data below this data point. In our 11 data points, 50% of the data below the median. This is nothing but quartile 2, quartile 1. This one is quartile 3, third quartile. Third quartile means 75% of the data below this data points. This is the mean. This is maximum. So please listen. Summary gives 6 summary measures, 6 descriptive measures. What is that? Minimum, Q1, Q2, median, Q3, sorry, mean, Q3, max. This median is nothing but Q2, 50%. Okay. So you see, now let us see. Only if you want 5 number, what is the box plot? Already displayed box plot of salary. See here. So what is this box plot? Suppose I will remove that. Suppose I will clean the data. Clean data. Okay. I will put CAL. Okay. I will take the same data. I will consider the same data. Just use upper arrow, you can get the same. I will clean this data by removing these 2 data points. Now what is CCAL? It is cleaned data. Now draw your box plot. What will happen? See the box plot? So this box, it is nothing but interquartile range. So this first below the box, the bottom line is Q1. This is Q2. It is nothing but middle value. See the middle value here 31 maybe. So this is 32. This is the Q3. So minimum value, maximum value. So box plot invented by 2K. It gives 5 number summary. Please make a note. Summary gives 6 numbers. Minimum, first quartile, Q2, mean, third quartile, maximum. Box plot gives 5 number summary. What are the 5 number summary? If you want to, you can see 5 number. Please, 5 number. Make a comment. See here, 5 numbers. What are the 5 numbers? Minimum, you see, minimum is there. 29 is first quartile. 30 is the middle value. 32, 30 is the middle value. 31, 32 is a Q3. 36 is maximum for the given data points. Suppose if you want to calculate the actual data point, you see 25, it is there. 29.5, it is first quartile. 31, second quartile. 35, third quartile. 500 is a maximum. But here there is no mean. Please make a note. Summary gives the mean value, but 5 number summary, it won't give mean. Why it won't give mean? It is based on your box plot. The box plot drawn based on these 5 numbers only. Box plot drawn based on these 5 numbers. Minimum, maximum, Q1, Q2, Q3. Please make a note. Okay. So summary, then 5 number summary is developed by our 2K based on the box plot. That's clear. So now you see the other quantile function, QUAN PAL. Separately, if you want, you can separately find the quantile, QUANTILE, quantile of the particular data point. What is the data point? Salary. In that salary, you can find the 25th percentile. Q1 is nothing but 25th percentile. Am I correct? So this is the function. Please make a note. Quantile. You need to find out the first quartile Q1 based on this data points. So Q1 is nothing but 25th percentile or 25th. You can divide the data into 4 equal parts. This is the first part. Now you see 29th percentile. That means Q1 29.5. You see here, first quartile is 29.5. Suppose if you want to find out third quartile point, you can change this. Third quartile is 75th percentile. Or you can say this is 75th percentile. If you want to calculate 75th percentile, you can put it 0.75. You will get 75th percentile. Am I correct? So it is nothing but third quartile, 75th percentile. Please make a note. If you want to calculate 75th percentile for the given data, simply take this keyword quantile, then put 75. You will get 75th percentile. That means below 35.5. 75% of your data points below 35.5. This is your interpretation. What about here? 25% of the data points below this 29.5. Suppose I will put 100. What will happen? I will put 100. That means 1. See, 100%. Almost all the data below 500. You see, almost all the data. I think all the data below 500 only. So it says 100%. Suppose if you want to 60%. 60% of the data, 0.6. Type it here. So that means what? Below 32. Below 32. 60% of the data below 32. 60% of the data points contains the value below 32. You see here, below 32. Below 32, 60% of the data. If you arrange this data, then below 32, 60% of the data. For example, if you order cell, see here, sort. Simply put sort. Here. So below 32, 60% of the data below 32. 75% of the data below 35. So likewise, you can compute using the quantile. You see, the quantile function, it is very much useful for computing the percentiles and the quantiles and everything. The another one is IQR. You see that before that, you see that box plot of CAL. So you see, what is IQR means? The interquartile range. This box, it is nothing but IQR, interquartile range. So what is this? Q1, Q2, Q3. Q1 means below 25% of the data here. This is the line, the median, that represents 50% of the data below this data points. What is this? Q3, 75% of the data below this data point. What is this? It's a maximum. So almost all the data points below this one. Why it is 36? So I used the cleaned data. I removed 200 and 500. That's why your box look like very nice. Okay. So what is IQR? IQR is nothing but what? Q1. This is Q3. The difference between these two. So that means this range is IQR. This shaded area is IQR. So how will you compute here IQR? Entire quartile range. So see here. See here, P. That means what? Your shaded area is 3. That means Q3 minus Q1. What is Q3? If you want, you can calculate 5 number. You can see that 5 number summary. What is Q3? Here. So Q1, Q2, Q3. So Q3 is 35.5. Q1 is 29.5. See the difference? The difference is interquartile range. So this shaded area is 3. So 3. Please make keyword IQR. So till now you have any queries, you can ask me. Till now you can. This is some basic descriptive statistics. We can compute mean, median, mode, and everything. Suppose for example, this is very simple data points. Am I correct? So now I'm going to take the data from inbuilt software. Here also the data set is available. Please make a note. Here also the data set available. We can import the data. Already I show you. We can import the data from our software. We can export the data to other software also. We can import the data from other software. We can export the data to other software. Okay. Suppose even the Excel sheet, Notepad, we can import. Now, apart from that, our software itself, the data sets available, we can use the data set for our research purpose. We can extract, we can explore our statistical tool. For example, simply I'm typing data. Please listen, I simply am typing the data. You see here, the top of my message box is there. So this kind of data set is there. Please see, various data sets are available here. See the left hand side. Orange, for example, orange. What the data set contains? Growth of orange trees. Nile, flow of the river Nile. Okay, so likewise, various data sets are available. If you want, you can use the data set for your research purpose, or you can for exploring your statistical tool purpose. Okay.
Sir, if I want to be very specific about any diseases, for example, diabetes mellitus,
Yeah.
could I get retrieve that data set? Or should I type that?
Yeah. If you have data set, you can import the data. If your data set is in Excel, you can import and do your analysis. Okay. Otherwise, some of the data sets are also available here for diabetes patient. By diabetes patient, some real data is selected and it will be available in that specific packages. Okay. For example, I will check whether the data set is available on diabetes. You see, diabetes, I think A. So the data set is not found. But this type of data set is available in some other packages. For example, packages, load package. For example, let us see the modern applied strategy. See, MASS, modern applied strategy. It's already inbuilt software. It is installed. But for execution purpose, you need to load package. Okay, mass. I loaded. Okay. Again, you check the data set is there in that. It is not there. I think it is there in the robust base. We'll check it. A robust base already. If it is installed, then it is there. Okay, robust base data diabetes. Or if you want, you can check the data diabetes where it is there. It is there in the form of RRCO. Please listen. RRCO one package is there. In that package, the sample data file is there. Diabetes data. Similarly, in that mass package, BIMA.tr, the diabetes in BIMA Indian woman, that data is available in that mass package. Okay. So you see, again, you move on to the R. Let us see. So in the mass package, the BIMA data package is there. Data BIMA.dr. So what is BIMA.tr? See, so it is move very fast. If you want to see the first few row, what's the command? Head of the file name. Head of the file name. See, NP, GLU, it may be glucose, it may be blood pressure, it may be some other data points. It is the body mass index of each patient. Then some other function is there, the age of the patient, then type, whether the diabetes is there or not, yes or no. Okay, so you see 8 variables are there. Please see, 8 variables are there. Suppose if we want to construct the table of what is the file name? PAMATR, then $sign. You need to use a $sign to extract the variable. Please make a note. I use the $sign to extract this specific variable type. Based on this variable type, I want to construct the table. Now you see how many S? 68, 132. What about total? You can see the length of BIMA.tr. Sorry, instead of this length, it gives only the number of variable. You can use dimension. So 200 data is there. You see the 200 patients data is there. Out of 200, 68 having the diabetes, 132 don't have the diabetes. So 200 patients, 68 patients are diabetes. 200 personalities, 68 are diabetes, 132 they don't have diabetes. Each person's results are there. What is it? Glucose level, blood pressure level, body mass index, age, likewise it is there. Okay, so this is your data set. You can perform various kind of analysis here also. For example, whether the blood pressure is it normal or not, how will you check it? Box plot of, you give the file name PIMA.trace, $sign, what is it? BP. Am I correct? the first, the variable, you want to find out whether this variable is normally distributed or not, normally collected or not. Okay, if the data is normal, then only you can perform all kind of analysis. Okay, so you see that variable, whether it is normally distributed or not. This is a very basic plot to visualize the data. Okay, BMR dot, you see that extremes are there, what is that? Blood pressure data below 40, low pressure is there. Okay, this is above 100 is also there. In blood pressure, there are two kinds. One is systolic, another one is diastolic. Am I correct? Systolic, diastolic, that is 120/80 is normal. 120/80. So by considering 80, if this is a normal, above this 95 like that, it is an extreme cases. Its maximum is 80 is normal, then it little bit 10 or 20 points may vary. Above that one, it is non-normal. So similarly, below is also normal. So some of the data points are above normal, normal. So you need to see the data set. You need to say the database which is above normal, which is below normal. You can identify the observations. That's very much important for doing your analysis. So see, this kind of data set is there. Suppose if you want to take that diabetes exact data, you need to load the package RRCo. Or if suppose you have collected primary data, you can use the data for your analysis. RRCo, you see, I already installed that package, robust package. So I loaded. Now I can find the data set. What is it? Diabetes. Am I correct? I can get the data diabetes. Yeah, it is there. Okay, diabetes. Now you see, so it is 145 data is there. 145 data. So if you want to find out the head of that diabetes, what are the variables? See here, the same, some RW, FBG, glucose. Suppose if you know, then it is well and good. The group is normal group and over to group. Suppose if you don't know the description of data, you can simply type. Please listen. You can simply type and then data file name. Simply type the data and file name. You will see that the data set. So the data set contains 5 measurements made on 145 non-obese adult patients, classified into 3 groups. What are the 3 groups? Normal group, chemical diabetic, overt diabetic. So these 3 groups, based on these 3 groups, they are collected. We can use this for classification purpose. We can use for classification purpose or descriptive purpose or predictive modeling, whatever it is. You can use this data. Even if for your research analysis, this data set also you can use for your research purpose. Then prepare your research paper, then publish it. Okay, if you have primary data, then you can use, or you can take this secondary data. It is available in that. Even some Kaggle.com is there. You can very good find the data. Nowadays, the COVID data, everything is available. You can select the data, download the data, use it. Okay, so likewise, yeah, let us proceed. Yeah,
What.com, sir?
Kaggle.com. Kaggle.com. In search engine, you can use the Kaggle.com or data repository is there. Data repository.com, it is there. Okay, then COVID-19 data, everything is there. Simply type in a Google engine, you will get it. Various kinds of data for your research purpose. For example, if you, yeah, will minimize. I'll take this one. I'll see how. So what is suppose a diabetes data. If put it here, then you see here various kind of website is there. You can select from that website. You can get it. Okay, diabetes data in R. You see here. Train.org. The BIMA Indian data sets available. The description, you can select the data. Okay, or you can see the data repository. Here, some UCI, University of California, the data website is also there. UCI website there. Okay, University of California, the UCI various data set is there. Machine learning repository. You see data sets for classification, regression. You see various kinds of data. What are the how many variables? You see 442 observations are there. For classification purpose, you see that this kind of data set is there. You can use this data set for your research purpose and prepare the research paper, then publish it for classification, clustering. Okay. Similarly, for regression purpose, you can see the various kinds of data. 137 data set. This nothing but what? 137 data set for the purpose of regression. University of California. So likewise, various kind of websites are there where they have collected. You see, multivariate data, 122 multivariate data set is there. Univariate data, the 7 univariate data set is there. Univariate means only one variable is there. Okay, you can download and work with that various procedures, and also you can develop a new procedure. That developed new procedure is better than the existing procedure. Then you can award, you can get some awards, credits. So likewise, if the data set is there. Okay, now let us move on to the topic. So you can, for example, suppose I use here summary statistics. So summary statistics is nothing but what mean, median, mode, then maximum, minimum, like that you can perform. You can get. So this summary statistics also gives some useful information to interpret your data. Visualization also very useful to interpret your data, such in such a way that summaries also you can use the summary methods to interpret that data. How many data points are below 75%? So 75% of the data below this data points, 50% of the data below this data point. Like that, you can give some interpretations like that. Okay. So what is the minimum of the data point, maximum of the data point? Likewise, you can give summary methods. So till now, anybody, suppose I will take some large data to find the summary. For example, I can find one data set here, rivers. You see, the data set gives in miles 141 major rivers in the North America. It is there. What is it? Rivers data set is there. What is that? Rivers data set is there in our R software in the package data set. Okay. Now I will take the rivers data set. What will happen? You see here, this is a river. 140. How much? How many? 141. 141 major rivers in North America. 141 major river. First river, the kilometer 735 miles. The length of the first river is 735 miles. Okay, so you can see that the data description, it is there. Okay, based on the description, you can understand the data. Now I'm going to contribute the average length of that rivers. 141 rivers. What is the average length? Simply type mean of rivers. That's all. The average length is 591. 591 kilometer miles. 591 miles. The average length of that 141 rivers. Suppose if you want to draw box plot for that rivers, see here, this is a box plot. More than some 10 data points as outlier, and the median, the average is near 500. You see here, near 500 or below 500. This is nothing but median. Median is below 500. Let us see whether it is below 500 or not. I will close this one. What is the median? Median of rivers. Yeah, 425. So median is nothing but one robust measure of location. Please listen. It locate. So median is a robust measure of location. What is standard deviation? What is standard deviation of rivers? 493. The variation is 493. But what is the actual robust measure of standard deviation? That is median absolute deviation. Please make a note. See, actual variation is 214 miles only. But your traditional measure says 493. Why? The extreme observations are there, more than 1000 miles. Some of the rivers, very few rivers are more than 1000 miles. You see here, 2348, 2000, 3000, 2000, 2000. Some 5 to 10 data point is more than 1000. That's why your mean and standard deviation is get affected. But actual robust measure of mean, that means robust measure of location is 425 miles only. That represents the average. So 425 is a representative. What is that? Robust representative. What about the robust representative of variation? 214. What is the name? Median absolute deviation. You can compute the median absolute deviation. It is one of the robust measure of location. Okay, please make a note. So this is a robust measure. Median is also robust measure. It's a location. MAD is a robust measure of scale. What is it? MAD is an alternative to standard deviation. Please make a note. MAD is an alternative to standard deviation. See, mean is a normal classical measure. Median is a robust measure. Many more robust measures are there. Okay, I'll give simple, some very basic only. Similarly, standard deviation is a conventional measure. What is a robust measure? MAD is a robust measure. Okay, so various robust measures are there. For example, I will compute the robust measure. Please make a note. I will compute the robust measure. For example, for computing robust values, the the basic package is mass. It is there in your software. Inbuilt software, it is available. No need to install. It is there. You can load that package, mass. Okay. After loading, you can type Huber. For example, if you consider the salary value, you can find it. This is the mean. This is a standard deviation. It is robust measure. Huber is one robust person. It's robust statistician. Okay, statistician contributing robust measures. The name is Huber. The name of the statistician is Huber. He contributes to calculate the robust measure of scale, robust measure of location, robust measure of central value, measure of center tendency. It is a robust measure of center tendency. It is a robust measure of dispersion. Okay, the center tendency is nothing but location. Dispersion is nothing but scale. In another word, that's all. So measure of center tendency, measure of dispersion. Now, if you want to compute actual classical measure of center tendency, it's mean. Classical measure of dispersion, see here the difference, 88, 145. It is a classical measure. The robust measure, center tendency dispersion is 32 and 4. It computes using the majority of the data points. Please make a note. Robust measure uses the majority of the data point. Some robust measure excludes the extreme data points, discard the extreme data points. Some robust measure uses the extreme data points by considering the least weight. It gives the least weight for the extreme data point. Then it computes the measures of dispersion and center tendency. Please make a note. This is very much important for your data analysis. So till now, any queries you can ask me. Now I will move on to the next topic. What is the next topic in your see the system? What is the next topic? Hypothesis testing. I'm going to perform the hypothesis testing. I think the theory part already learned from Dr. Jayashankar's lectures. Am I correct? Shall I proceed hypothesis testing? Another 10 to 15 minutes. I will wind up after that. Okay.
Yes,
Please
sir.
listen.
Yes.
Yeah, please listen. So listen. So the data set is available. You can take the data set. Based on the data set, I can explain. Listen, based on the data set, I can explain, or based on our own data set, we can create either in the Notepad or in Excel or in SPSS. Based on the data set, I can explain the t-test, description, visually, whatever it is, I can explain it is. But due to want of time, I can get some 1 or 2 data points, minimum of data points, then I can explain. Okay. Otherwise, I will load some of the data set which is available in inbuilt package. Based on that also I can explain. For example, I will load one package, whole data set. You see, cars. I typed, please listen. I typed cars. It will give 50 data points. So if you want to, you can see, use the dimension of cars. It gives 50 rows. See the row, that means horizontal wise 50. 2 means vertical 2. Suppose if you want to see head of cars, here speed, distance, there are 2 variables in that file name. Cars is one data set, 2 files are there, speed and distance. How many data is there? 50 data. So 50 cars. First car, the speed and the distance. Speed is, that means 4, distance 2. If you don't know the speed, what is 4, what is distance, if you don't know, simply put question mark. It will describe the data. This data set contains speed of cars and the distance taken to stop. Suppose if you apply the brake, then how much distance traveled, then the car will stop. Okay, so the cars and the distance taken to stop. Note the data were recorded in 1920. You see, data frame consists of 50 observations. I told you 50 observations, 2 variables. What's the first variable? Speed. So mile per hour. If you stop, apply the brake, it will move on 4 miles per hour, then stop. First data point. Okay, the numeric stopping distance is feet. The measurement is feet. Now look at the data. It is 2 feet. 4 kilometers per hour. We apply the brake. When car is traveling 4 kilometers per hour speed, you apply the brake, it will stop after 2 feet. When the car is 7 miles per hour, if you apply the brake, the car will stop after 4 feet. That is clear? That's all. So this is what 2 variable is there. So what about in reverse? Reverse data set, only 1 variable, head of reverse. See, only 1 dimension is there, 141 data. But here 2 variables, speed and distance. Okay, so speed and distance is there. Now you can compute mean of cars. What will happen? Not available. Why we didn't compute? Suppose if you apply mean of reverse, it will give mean. Why? because mean of error contains only one data points, that is only one dimension. Here two dimension, you have to give the instruction to computer, you have to compute average speed or average distance, average speed or average distance, or if you want to calculate the average column wise, what is the average in the first column, what is the average in the column, that you need to calculate. Okay, so for that you need to give separately. For example, mean of in the data, take the variable speed. What is the average speed of the entire 50 cars? See, 15.4, the first column. Or you can give the command, you see, column means of cars. If you give the file name directly, you have to use the command column means. So please make a note, COL means for multivariate data. Call means for multivariate data. All means, or you need to use that symbol to extract the specific variable, index symbol. This is nothing but indexing. You can extract the specific variable. Suppose if you see the right hand side, call means of cars. So now you see the average speed is 15.4. The average distance to stop the car is 42 feet. But actually the first one is 4 miles per hour. Within 2 feet, the car will stop. But the average is 42.8. Why so much? If you want, you can see the visualization of that plot. Plot, you see, plot cars. Please make a command, plot cars. Plot command. Plot cars, how will you see the screen? Plot cars. So the speed increases, the distance, stopping distance is also increases. If your car is 20 miles per hour, if your car speed is 20 miles per hour, what is the stopping distance? It move on 60 feet. After only it will stop. You see here, almost 20 kilometer per hour miles, all cars, if it is the 21st car or 40th car, so the index, if you can see, all the cars will stop between 25 to 60 feet distance. If your car is moving on 20 miles per hour, then it will stop between 60 25 feet distance. It will stop after 25 feet distance, below 60 feet distance. Likewise, you can give the interpretations. So this is two variable. Previously only one variable we plotted in a box plot. This is two variable. That's why it's a bivariate plot. Sorry, it's a bivariate plot. You can say it is a scatter plot, scatter diagram. So speed is x-axis, y-axis is. If you want, you can change this x-axis and y-axis. By I can also, you can also give the various colors, like that is possible. Okay, you can select the data points, label, whatever it is, that is possible. Okay, suppose if you want to plot the car in terms of a box plot, that is also possible. Let us see what will happen. Box plot of the file name. The car is a file name. Okay, see the box plot. In distance, there is, particularly it is a univariate plot. Please make a note, box plot, it represents univariate, only one variable at a time. Scatter plot is two variable. Okay, so now you see box plot, there is no outlier. You see there is no extreme point in speed, but in distance the extreme data point is there. 120 feet is the extreme one. 120 feet data is there in your cars file. Okay, in your cars file, the 120. So it display only the by univariate variable, only one variable considered. Suppose if you want to two variable consider at a time, one more plot is there, bivariate box plot. That is expansion of bivariate box plot, that it is there. I will show you the you need to install that separate package for that. Okay, suppose APL package is there. You can install that APL package. You can install the APL package, then you can get it that separate bivariate extension of the box plot. Suppose I will install then back plot. You see, BAG, back plot of cars. See here the back plot. So it is extension of box plot. You see here, axis is nothing but what? Speed. Y is nothing but the distance, stopping distance. Okay, so now you see this is the median, bivariate median. So this is the fence. Like box plot, you consider the whiskers. So maximum value, minimum value. So it takes all the data. So this is the majority of the data points. This is some extreme cases. After this, some extreme cases are there. Okay, after this. Okay, now look at this. It is nothing but the back plot. It is an extension of box plot, univariate box plot. So it is a back plot. It is nothing but what we can say bivariate box plot. It is also there. While research purpose, you can see that back plot. It is there in your package. It is there in your package. What is that package? Back plot. Back plot is there in your package. What is the package name? APL pack. This package is created some other purpose. Okay, so this function is available in that package. If you install the package, then load, then you can execute this command. Okay, so likewise you can see the various plots. Suppose if you want to three variable, if you want to see the three variables, the trees one data structure is there. Trees, it is there. You see here, trees. In that, three variables are there. So first we have seen rivers. The next we have seen cars. Cars contains two variable bivariate data. This is three variable girth, height, volume. The first tree, the girth of the first tree is 8.3, height of the first tree is 70, volume of the first tree is 10.3. So likewise 31 trees data point is there. If you want, you can plot trees. What will happen? See here, girth and height. So bivariate. So this is scatter plot. This y-axis girth, x-axis height. Here y-axis girth, x-axis volume. So two variable at a time considered. It will consider at a time two variable. It's a scatter plot. Scatter plot is nothing but the bivariate plot. But here we are having three variable. That's why it displayed six plots. So three variables, we make it as 2, 2, 2. It's a combination is 6. That's why the 6 upper limit, upper you see 3 diagrams, lower you can see the 3 diagrams. So this is plot of trees. Suppose if you want to draw box plot of trees, what will happen? Here, for each variable, box plot is univariate. So for each variable, this tree contains three variables. Girth, height, volume. So what is girth? There is no outlier. Height, there is no outlier. In volume, one outlier is there. So it is a separate. Based on this variable, you can see that one is an outlier. While you combining all this, how will you find the outlier? That is another part. It is there. If you combine all these variable, you can find the outlier. That is referred as multivariate outlier. This is represents univariate outlier. You can find out the multivariate outlier. That is also possible. Now we can find the descriptive statistics for these three variables. Just type trees. Trees, phylum, call means. You see, average girth, average height of the trees, average volume. If you want to find out the description of the data set, simply put a question mark, you will get it. See the data set provides the diameter, height, volume of timber in 31 felled black cherry trees. Diameter in inches, it is there. Okay, so it is measured 4 feet 6 in above the ground level. You see, first one is girth, diameter in inches, second one is height in feet, third one is volume, it is in cubic feet. Okay, it is there. If you want, you can take this and copy and paste it on, it will work. Okay, for some other purpose, they will collect that. So the data source is here. If you want, you can download this paper, it is there. Okay, so reference, source, everything it is there. You can see that lesserly. Okay, so likewise, you can see, I think the time is 1:15. Shall I proceed? I'll wind up. If you are ready, I will proceed with that testing, or that part we will move on to the next day. If you are ready, I will continue. Okay, let us see one or two. Let us see one or two testing hypothesis. So you all know the testing hypothesis. Please see, that is very much important. So before that, I will give some introduction. I think you learned from Dr. Jaishankar. Anyhow, I will give some introduction. So you see, once this most widely used t-test, f-test, chi-square test, ANOVA. Okay, so these are the tests we are going to execute. Okay, when will you use this kind of test? That is very much important. You have to select the proper statistical test procedure for testing or hypothesis. So one test, that means t-test, which is, listen, almost all statistical hypothesis based on the parameter. I already told you, parameter, variable. Variable is an individual characteristics. Parameter is an aggregate of that. Okay, please listen. Suppose height of individual person, it is variable. Average height of this participant, that is a parameter. Average height. Individual height, that is variable. We can call it as x1, x2 like that. My height is 170. That is a variable. Average height of this group is 165. That is a parameter. Okay, so all this, you are testing the parameter. Please listen, all statistical hypothesis is nothing but testing the parameter. For example, suppose we already seen the hemoglobin, or you can select some other medicine, Saridone. Saridone is meant for which disease? We are using frequently Saridone, which is meant for which disease? Please listen. Tell me. Saridone.
Headache, body pain.
Very good. Headache, body pain. Okay. Suppose I will select 10 participants. Suppose I will select 10 participants. This screen is visible. 10 participants. Then I will give the Saridone for the participants, for those who are having the headache. Since the time is 1:15, they are ready for lunch. So due to lunch time, they are having some headache. Okay, we'll give this Saridone. Organizer will give you. Okay, so take that Saridone. Suppose the relief hours. Suppose I will take some 5 hours relief. One participant within 30 minutes or 1 hour relief. Then 4 hours relief. Some participant take 10 hours relief. Some participant took 12 hours to relieve the headache. Okay. Now I want to test the hypothesis whether the average relief is 5 hours or not. What is it? Average relief is 5 hours or not. So this is the hypothesis. So this is nothing but what? Average. So while testing the average hypothesis, you can use t-test. You can use t-test. Please listen. I think I am recalling. Okay, I'm recalling this one. So you have to use one sample. You are testing the average, mean. You are testing the average. Suppose Saridone is one group of people. Another group of people, I am going to give the crocin. For crocin, they are giving then the relief hours, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours. Now you have to frame the hypothesis whether these two medicines are equally effective to cure a particular headache. These two medicines are equally effective. So now how will you compute the hypothesis here? The average effect of crocin is equal to average effect of Saridone. See here, average. Now you are testing two. Previously only one sample based on the Saridone. The next problem is related to two samples. One is crocin, another one is Saridone. You are testing the equality of the effect. So here also we are using average. You need to apply t-test. Two sample. Okay, please make a note. Suppose you are testing the variances, you apply here variances. F-test. So this is for testing attributes. Testing the attributes. For example, next page. For example, suppose I am having the blood group. Here, gender. Okay, male, female. Blood group. What is the group? A, B, O, A, B, like that. Okay, so the number of male having the blood, 10 male having the blood group A, B, B group, C group, AB group. So likewise, you can give the data. So this is female. Okay. So male, female. So this is two attributes are there. What is the two attributes? Gender is another attribute. Blood group is another attribute. You are testing whether the blood group depends on gender. The blood group is associated with the gender or not. So to test the attributes, you have to apply the chi-square test. Okay, chi-square test. So simple. Okay, make a note. This is very much important. Now finally, one ANOVA. What is ANOVA? Suppose you have a Saridone, crocin. Next page. Saridone, crocin. Somebody will put Tolo. 650. Now we have three medicines. You want to test whether all these medicine effects are equal or not. The average effect of all these medicine effects are equal or not. For that, you have to apply ANOVA. Analysis of variance. You are testing the mean. Please listen. You are testing the average effect of Saridone is equal to average effect of crocin is equal to average effect of Tolo 650. So you are testing the average effect with the help of ANOVA. Analysis of variance. Please make a note. So for two sample, you can use, I will show you here. So for two sample, testing the equality of two sample, you can use t-test. For ANOVA, you can use more than two sample. One sample is t-test, two sample is also t-test. Okay. More than two sample, use ANOVA. Chi-square test is suitable for attributes, goodness of it. F test is suitable for variance. This it's enough for you preliminary. Okay, so we are going to perform all these kind of tests for testing the hypothesis. So you know what is hypothesis, how will you prepare, what kind of errors involved, everything you learned. Now you see, if you have one sample, if you consider only Saridon, then your hypothesis is nothing but average is equal to 5. You are testing this. Let us see T sample, T test. Now I'll take the Saridon effect. Saridon effect. What is the data for 5 hours sleep, 3 hours sleep, 4 hours sleep, 6 hours sleep, 8 hours sleep, like that. Okay, 5 hours, 8 hours, 5, 7, 8, like that. I'm giving the data like that. So what is Saridon data? What is the length of the data? You can see, or you can put dimension. I think length it's enough. Only one variable is there. Length of Saridon. So I have collected 10 participants, the relief hour. Now, what is the average of the relief hour? You can easily find out the average relief hour. Simply put, so 5.6 hours is enough to relief. Based on the given data, I didn't explore in the Indian population. Based on the 10, I don't know the population value. So here actually the population, you may be 50 or you may be 100. Out of 50, 100, I have selected only data points. Based on the data points, 5.6. So it deals, we can say the average relief of that particular category for that group is maybe 5 hours, 5.6 hours. Okay, so this is simply mean. By performing the T test, you see T tot test. Please make a note the comment. Since we have only one variable, only one medicine, so you apply T tot test. This is the command T tot test. You need to pass argument here. So T tot test equal to T tot test Saridon. What is your hypothesis testing? You want to test the average. Generally, in average, you can put the value. What is that here? You want to test mu equal to 5. Am I correct? Actually, I told you we want to test the average of the relief hour is 5 hours or not. We are going to test. So mu equal to 5. Now you see, not enough Y observation. What? Not enough Y observation. So you see here, you need to put mu equal to, let us say, mu in our statistics, mu is nothing but the population average. Okay, so I want to test the population average to for the relief hour is 5 hours or not. So that's why I'm giving mu equal to 5. Okay, mu equal to 5. Now you see your test result. Now you see the test result. What is the test result? Please see how will you interpret. That is very much important for your testing hypothesis. So the testing hypothesis, inferential part is very much important for our research paper. For preparing the research paper, those who are performing the data analysis, this is the heart of that paper. How will you interpret? Please see the screen. This is the statistic I used. What is the statistic test? T test is used. How many observations? 10 observations. 10 minus 1. We usually the formula. I think that part is explained by the Jaishankar. Just I am going to how to interpret this. Okay. So 10 minus 1. Total observation 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. This is the p value. The p value is 0.27. Please make a note. So now see, I have given only one hypothesis. What's the hypothesis? Mu equal to 5. That is only one hypothesis. But what are the alternative hypotheses? Tell me, anyone? I have given only mu equal to 5. What are the alternative hypotheses? Anyone, please tell me. Yes? Suppose we want to test the hypothesis mu equal to 5. This is one hypothesis. What are the alternative to this hypothesis? You can say the average relief hour is greater than 5.
or less.
You can say average is less than 5. The another one is you can say the average hour is not equal to 5. Okay, all these are called statement. Please listen. All these are called the statement. The statement is related to the term mu, parameter. Statistical hypothesis related to the parameter only. So you can select which one is null hypothesis, which one is alternative hypothesis.
If you are taking null hypothesis H not equal to 5 means that the alternative is H1 not equal to 5.
Very. So you can select not equal to 5, you can select, or you can select greater than 5, you can select less than. If you say greater than 5, then it is one-sided. If you say less than 5, that is also one-sided. It may be left side or right side. If you say not equal to, then it may take less than or greater than. So it is called two-tailed test, one-tailed test, one-tailed test, two-tailed test. Okay. So in general, here our hypothesis is nothing but mu equal to 5. Alternative, mu not equal to 5. This is our hypothesis. Okay. Let us say this is K, this is H. Now this is our hypothesis. We are going to test this hypothesis whether we are going to reject or accept. Please make a note. This is our hypothesis. So based on our data, see the result. See the result. The p-value is 0.27. Please make a note. What is the alternative? By default, you see, by default, the computer take alternative not equal to. Please make a note. If you want to, you have to mention alternative is lesser side or alternative is greater side. That is also possible. You have to give here alternative is equal to lesser side. That type you can give. You see the result. Or greater one side. Okay, now you see the first part, mu equal to 5. By default, if you didn't mention the alternative hypothesis, it will take automatically by default not equal to. Now you see this alternative. Now you see 95% confidence interval. That is also very much important. While performing just like that, you see the p-value and then give the conclusion. That is not a good decision. Please make a note. Just to see the p-value and give the conclusion, that is not a good interpretation. Please make a note. Nowadays, p-value is also play a vital role, but only p-value is not the threshold to make a decision. Please see. So you have to consider the other part also. That's why the statistical thinking is needed, not statistical inference. Statistical thinking is needed nowadays. Since the data is more number of data is there. Okay, now you see the confidence interval. That means this we are giving mu equal to 5. That means what? The mu is lies between 4.4 and 6.7. Please listen. The average relief hour is lies between 4.4 hours and 6.7 hours. So this average is here. This average is here. That's why the hypothesis may be accepted. Please make a note. This average, we are testing the hypothesis mu equal to 5. That 5 lies in this confidence interval. Please see, the 5 lies in the confidence interval. That's why the hypothesis may be accepted. Okay, hypothesis may be accepted. Now, again, you see, what is the length of the interval? It is 4.4 to 6.7. It is nearly some 2 hours variation only, 2.3, maybe 2.3 hours. Sometimes it may take 10 hours. So that is also play a vital role. The confidence interval play a vital role to perform your analysis and to interpret your analysis. Not only the p-value. Please make a note. You have to consider the confidence interval value for your interpretation also. So this 5 is lies between these two values. So the hypothesis may be accepted. What is the p-value? 0.27. Therefore, the hypothesis may be accepted. Please make a note. Please make a note. All of you, please make a note. It's very much important. I will show you. The p-value less than your significant value, alpha. Generally, you can significant. That means we can give in symbol alpha. What is a significant value? That means 5%, 1%, 2%. We are committing some kind of errors. So we can tolerate 5% of error, or we can tolerate 1% of error. Depends upon your data. You can select the tolerance 5%. So 5% error, that means we can say 95% confidence level. We can say 95% confident. 95% confident the hypothesis may be accepted. The hypothesis rejected. So please listen, don't use that accepted. If you say 100% confident, then you can use the word accepted. While writing your research article, don't use the word accepted. Since we don't know the confident 100%. Usually we take 95% confident only. Or some problem may be 99%. Okay. So don't use that word accepted. Instead of using that word, you can use the word may be accepted. Or there is no evidence to reject. Use that keywords. There is no evidence to reject the null hypothesis. That means indirectly we are using the word accept. Okay. So don't use the word accepted, the word. Okay. So this is very much important while testing your confident limit and etc. Okay. Now you see the interpretation. Your p-value is less than significant value. Listen, p-value, what is the, suppose we assume the p-value alpha, significant value, let us assume 5%. So 5% is nothing but what? 0.05. 5% nothing but 0.05. Okay. Suppose your p-value, all of you less than 0.05, then hypothesis rejected. Please make a note. This is very much important while giving interpretation. And also your parameter value lies on the confidence interval. Okay, please make a note all this. Not only p-value, you can also see the confidence value. If your parameter out of that confidence interval, then the hypothesis rejected. Then you see the length of the confidence interval. You have to give the interpretation about that also. Length of the confidence. If length of the confidence is very small, then don't worry. If the length of the confidence is very large, you need to take whether the medicine is very difference is more, the dispersion is more. Okay, so in such a way that you have to give the interpretation, even though the high pass may be accepted, both the medicines are equally effective, but you have to see the confidence interval. How much equally effective? Even it may be 5 hours, the variation. The second part one is more than 10 hours variation. Then you have to look at the confidence interval. Okay, now you see that our software. So you see here, your p-value is 0.2789. Okay, the p-value is 0.2789. So what is your result? 0.27 is p-value. Our significant value, what is your alpha? 0.05. Okay, now you see this one. You see this one. See this one. See this one. Now you tell me your high pass is rejected or not. Actually, the calculated value is p 0.027. It comes as per our result. As per our result, you see here 0.27 p value. Compare with your significant confidence p level, significance level value. Our significance, suppose if you consider 5%, 5% means what? 0.025. So p is 0.27. So you see this p value less than 0.05, then reject. Okay. Now you see, take this p value, then you check the result whether the high pass is rejected or not. Anyone? The p value is 0.27. Our significance level is 0.025. Whether that p value satisfied this condition or not. Please. Please.
Not, sir.
So the condition not satisfied since p value is 0.27. This one is our significant level is 0.05. It is greater value. So if it is less than, then only we reject the null hypothesis. So here greater than, that means there is no evidence to reject the null hypothesis. There is no evidence to reject the null hypothesis. Please make a note. So it is a greater, that means accepted. So don't use the word accepted. So we have to give the conclusion there is no evidence to reject. The hypothesis may be accepted at how much level? 5% level of significance. How much confident? 95% confident. The hypothesis may be accepted. That means the average relief hour takes 5 hours. We can give 95% confident and the average relief hour is 5%. Please make a note. The hypothesis may be accepted. Since the p-value is greater than the significant value, all of you please make a note of this one. This is very much important. The last part is very much important. Again, you see the confidence interval, then the length of the confidence. Here, the length of the confidence is some 2.3 hours only. The minimum is 4.4 hours. The maximum is 6.67. If the extreme cases are there, certainly your result will be affected. Please make a note. Here you see 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 only. If you put on 24 hours or 48 hours to relieve the attack, then certainly your result will be affected. If you put only one point is 24, certainly your result will be affected. Result will come, but it is not a reliable result. Please make a note whether the data is normal or not. So before performing the t-test, you should check the data is normal or not. How will you check? Box plot of Saridon data value. See, there is no outliers, but the Q1 and Q2 is almost same. No problem. But there is no outliers. You see here, there is no outliers. Q1 and Q2 are same. No outliers. If you put one observation is 24, certainly it is not normal, but it will give the result. Okay, so I think I will end up this one because of lunchtime. I will end. I have a meeting with another half an hour. Okay, I will end up this. Will have any queries? Another 5 minutes. You can ask any queries. So I have
not there still.
remaining part we will see in the next class. So tomorrow we have to we will continue the remaining testing problems and regression, classification, clustering. The remaining 4 parts is there. We will continue on tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now you tell me any queries regarding that. You can take the data from our software itself, performing your t-test and the descriptive statistics, summary statistics, and the visualization plot. Everything is there. So you can select the data from our software. Number of data point is more. High data number of observation is there. Multi-dimensional data is there. Univariate, bivariate, multivariate. I told you that the univariate is reverse data, only one variable. Cars data has 2 variables. Trees data has 3 variables. Trivariate. Okay. So likewise, many more data is there. Okay. You can similarly diabetes. What is the data? Diabetes contains some 5 variables. Diabetes, it is there in the separate package. Okay, and also some Bima Indian one data set is there. It is also one data set which contains some 7 or 8 variables, more number of observations, 200 observations, 140 observations. So you can use this data set for performing the statistical tools. Okay, please. Any queries?
So there is no questions in the chat box, sir. Till now. Sir, no questions, sir.
So due to lunchtime, we are unable to ask. Okay, so please practice. If you have any queries, you can ask by tomorrow. No problem.
Okay, sir.
Okay, okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now it's time for the vote of thanks. I would like to present the vote of thanks. We take the golden audio of the respect the chief guest of Dr. Muthukrishnan for making presentation and making this webinar interesting and meaningful. It was full of knowledge and interesting things. It gave deep insight into the topic and also revealed some interesting facts. Next, I would like to thank our Managing Trustee Dr. A. Senthil Ganesan, Secretary Madam Dr. Sarama Samuel Ma'am, and Controller Madam Dr. R. Meera Raman for their motivation. I would also like to thank our Principal Sir and Vice Principal Sir and DPT Star Coordinator Dr. R. Dhanabanu Sir for providing the immense support of this webinar with all possibles. I must thank to Dr. Christopher Sir, Admin Director of School of Computer Science, for providing the lab for their hands-on trainings. I extend my gratitude to our beloved senior faculty, Dr. S.P. Palaniswamy Sir, Mrs. S. Amina Ma'am, Head of the Department of Biochemistry, and Mrs. M. Indumati Ma'am, Head of the Department of Mathematics, for organizing the webinar successful. I am happy to express vote of thanks to all director, HODs, faculty members in various institutions. Once again, I thank you all for making the 9th day faculty improvement program a great success. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Solay, ma'am. Thank you, Muthukrishnan, sir. Sir, once after the session of tomorrow, immediately we have a test, na, sir? Assessment test. Sir, your audio is muted.
Yes, sir. Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
If I will send the link in the chat box. Okay. Then they will take that assessment after lunch. No problem.
Okay.
Or if they are ready to take, then they will take 1:30 to 2, between 1:30 and 2.
Okay,
Actually,
sir.
we will, as you see, now the time is 1:40. So it is very difficult if they are having the test after 1:40.
Sir, we have an exclusive WhatsApp group also for the participants.
Then you will send that link to the WhatsApp participant.
We
Okay,
can
you
schedule
can,
the time accordingly and we can post it there, sir.
yeah, 2 to 2:30 likewise. Like you can give the time for that, no problem.
Okay, sir.
Either 2 to 2:30 like that. Okay.
Okay.
After lunch, I will send the link. I didn't till now. I didn't prepare that one. Just I'm preparing. Okay, I will send the Google form link. So the question is in the Google form. Am I correct? Then only they can answer the questions. Then we can download that assessment through that Excel sheet in the form of Excel sheet.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So I will send that link after the class, after the end of the class tomorrow. No problem.
Okay. Indumati will stop the recording now. So participants, dear participants, thank you for joining the 9th day session of FIP. So all the recorded session will be sent in the WhatsApp group. So take a look of all the 9 day sessions.